Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for a fabulous cooking and wine pairing segment brought to you by Urban Wine Club and also Greek Wine Club and Greekazon. Maybe we'll talk about that a little later, but this is the Urban Wine Club Greek cooking and wine pairing segment. Ari, thank you so much for joining us. We have a very, very special guest today, all the way from Utah. But before we get to her, let me introduce my co-host, Foti Stamos. Hello, Foti.
Also, Ari, thank you so much for that great introduction, and we're super excited because this actually happens to be our very first cooking demo in wine pairing,
Yay.
and what a better way to kick it off with our special guest that's with us, as you said, all the way from Utah. But these segments for us are very dear and true to our hearts because we're going to be able to bring back some of the classics of our Greek cuisine
Mm.
and understand that cuisine a little better with our wine pairing. So before we talk anymore, let's welcome our guest all the way from Salt Lake City, maybe not within Salt Lake City, but somewhere around there. Uh, Eleni Saltas. Eleni, thank you so much for taking the time. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I feel like a foreigner. We're like all the way from Utah. Coming into Utah. It's so funny.
It's weird for you because you're there and your people are there and everybody you know is there. But
Yeah.
for us, we're like all the way over here, so it's a little like treat for us to have.
Yeah. Like California's further away, but
That's true.
like
That's true.
Utah is a lot of people don't realize a lot of Greeks are in Utah. So
Yeah. So you mentioned earlier that at some point it was like 10% of Utah was Greeks.
right, yeah. So when like the labor work was coming through in like 1900s, 10% of Utah's population was Greek.
Wow.
Came here to do work in coal mines and railroads and things like that. There's a huge population, mostly centered around the mining cities of Utah. Now I'm in Salt Lake City, Utah. So I think if someone just asked that. So yeah, Salt Lake City, Utah is where I am at now.
Could I ask a dumb question?
Of course, ask them away.
Is all I know about Salt Lake City is Mormon. So is that real? Like, is it mostly Mormons, or is that just like?
That's all it is. Yeah. No. No. Yeah. So that's like what we're obviously known for is our Mormon influence. Yes, most of the people, or I don't know the population now, but heavy influence of Mormon population, and which I think has created all these like subcultures and why Greeks here are very close to each other. So we have like in our church, we have like our Goya basketball, Flotokos, like everything like that. Everyone stays really close together, dances. So just because there's nothing really else for us to cling to. So it's kind of worked out for us to in
That's
our
really cool. That kind of reminds me that when you explain it that way, it kind of reminds me of like when the Greeks first really started immigrating to the United States. They were like kind of the outsiders, so they all stuck together. So
yeah.
when you don't have a lot around you, you kind of stick together, and that's actually kind of cool. I like that.
So we're still like that. We're still the outside. Yeah, we stick together for sure. Kind
But
of
now
yeah,
you're spreading out. You're
yeah,
spreading out virtually.
yes, yes.
What makes it even more fascinating is that we need to mention that Eleni is a cookbook author who has a fabulous book called All You Can Eat, or All You Can
Oh, you
Greek.
could greet you.
All
You
you,
ruined the witty title, Foti.
all, All You Can Greek, which for me, looking at the book and knowing that Eleni being a young Greek American, it's for me, it's refreshing to see someone of your generation who's really bringing back the culture through food, because we've mentioned in previous conversations about how as our time goes on and generations are going by, we start to lose an element of our culture, whether it be the language, whether it be the food, our customs and so forth. And the dishes that I've seen in the recipes in your book, I have to commend you on, the work and effort that you put into this. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I felt strong about bringing you on, is because, you have something to show as far as, we need to kind of bring it back. And your book is definitely going to do that when we get that out to most of our audience and to our network. And I just want to say bravo for putting that wonderful book together. And we'll talk about the book later on and give people more details. And in this segment, and I'm sure in our future segments, we're going to pick recipes from your book that you're going to help demonstrate and show how to people like Ari how easy it is to put these dishes together and keep that Greek element alive,
It
right?
still might not be easy enough for me, but I'll try my best.
Right, right.
But talking about that cookbook, I just have to say I'm come from a design background, and Eleni put this book together herself. She did the photography herself. You will not know that she is not a 100% professional. This book is gorgeous.
Yes.
Thank you,
So,
guys. Oh, I'm like I blushing over here.
so before we get into our segment with Eleni, Eleni, give us a little bit about who you are, your background, and what led you to this journey for the publication and the writing of your cookbook.
Well, thank you. Okay, so first of all, thank you so much for having me being the first cooking host on your show. I've had the pleasure of hopping on a call or two of what you guys are starting, and I think what you're doing is awesome, bringing Greeks together or anyone together to learn about so many different wines and foods and things like that, cocktails. So thank you so much. So a little bit about me. I am from Salt Lake City, Utah, as we mentioned. I have a background in health and fitness. I have been working as a personal trainer for about 7 years. So that's kind of what started my whole journey here. I started a fitness blog really like years ago, and I started doing like little fitness tips like get out and walk and do here's like some like things you can eat that are a little healthier. And then one day I just wrote about rice pudding risotto, and that took off. People were sharing it, and I was like, I have been blogging and all this, and
So it's thanks to Risogalo.
and then risotto takes off. Yeah, so I was like, okay, so people obviously care about food more than what I had to say about fitness. So I would I'd still stick with the fitness stuff, but then I started doing more heavily with the food, and so I just like blog here and there. It was kind of like more sporadic, and then I started adding like the story element to it. And then when I was in Greece a few years ago, I thought of writing a book, and I thought of the title before I even like had any true writing experience. And photography experience as well. So I was like, I want to write a cookbook. I've always loved cookbooks, and my dad has hundreds of them, and so they've always been around our house. Famous chefs like Dan Kochilas and Silaki and things like that. So I was like, I want to write a cookbook for my generation because, like you said before, we're losing touch with that. I'm losing touch with it. I'm a fourth generation Greek and living in America, and I wanted to write these stories of my family and like a concrete way to hold on to those. So that's kind of where the book kind of stemmed and grew. So a lot of my blogging background to writing a book, and I just like really wanted to have a book to hold. So I did all the photography. I was telling you guys the other night, I'm not a trained photographer, so the photos are like not like the most like decorative artsy, but most of the photos I'm just like in my kitchen counter here, standing up on the counter and just like taking these overhead shots. I mean, that's like all I could do at the time. So yeah, so very, very grateful for the people that have supported me and still continue to support me. So thank you so much.
Awesome. Good. I mean, fantastic. I mean, these are the stories that we love to seek because they have so much value beyond just the actual book. What goes behind the scenes and what goes behind the whole mindset. And it resonates with all of us. So bravo.
And there is something nice about having a tangible, actual physical book in your hands. And
Yeah, that's what I was hoping.
yeah, there's nothing like it. I mean, as technology goes forward, it might be going away. I don't know, but there definitely is a need, in my opinion, for a physical, beautiful, colorful
So
book with nice photography and nice design.
so basically what we're saying is that every household, or at least Greek American household, needs a copy of the book on their
All
coffee.
households.
Okay,
Don't
all
limit
households.
it.
Okay, you got it. But
Everyone needs it. Tell everybody. Tell your friends.
so let's get to the fun stuff as far as tonight's segment. Eleni has two recipes that she's going to demonstrate for us, which I'm a big fan of both. One is one of the classics that I grew up with as a kid, especially during the winter time. Tell us the two recipes that you're going to actually demonstrate for us tonight.
Yeah, so first we're gonna start with Kima, so Makaronia me Kima. So it's a meat sauce with spaghetti for anyone else or any kind of noodle that you really like. I'm using pasticcio noodles for mine. You can use penne pasta, rigatoni, whatever you really want. And then, like you said, it's also a comfort food. I love it. I love a meat sauce. And then I'm also making Tyrokafteri, which is a feta dip that's spicy, or I like it spicy. You can also keep it kind of mellow. I throw in any kind of hot peppers that's around. So that's all obviously to your taste. So those two dishes to kind of kick things off, kind of like a warm dish, kind of cold out, and warm dishes, spicy dishes. So yeah, this is what we're gonna be making today.
Excellent. And then as you're demonstrating the recipes, when they come to completion, we're going to revisit the dishes together with the wines that we paired and show yourself and our folks, how much better, in my opinion, food is with wine.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Excellent.
I have these wines nearby. We're gonna be cooking with this wine, by the way. We can talk about that.
You're using that one in those meat sauce, you said.
All right. So the first recipe, Eleni, we're going to kick off is the Makaronia with Kima.
Yes, and really quick, just for the audience sake, I don't know who's cooking along, or if there's anyone, can we get maybe like a little hand, and or if they have any questions, feel free to throw in the chat, and then
Yes.
you already can send it my way. But I'm not sure how many people are going to be cooking along or just want a demonstration. But
and we're gonna allow and encourage everyone to send their messages through the chat, and then towards the end of the segment, we can open up our the videos, and we can have a Q&A with you with all of our guests that might want to ask you questions directly. All right?
That's when we get rowdy.
Oh
no. That's when the party starts.
Yeah. Okay, so like I said, we're gonna start with the Kima. So on our stove, sorry, I'll have to be moving the camera around a little bit because everything's gonna be over there today.
No
So
worries.
I'm gonna kind of like bring this over here, and then I'll bring it over as we go. So we're gonna start on the stove. So I'm doubling the recipe today because I'm cooking for my family. And so usually we'll have like 1.5 pounds of ground beef, but today I'm gonna double it, so don't mind me. So first we have our pan, our saucepan here, and we're gonna put the meat in it, brown it, and then just as it's browning, you're gonna break it up into chunks. So that's what we're gonna start with.
Eleni, do you have a choice of what meat you recommend?
I use beef, hamburger beef, or some people use turkey if you want like a leaner meat. You can definitely use that.
Okay.
You can use ground lamb. I like the beef; it has a more fatty flavor. So totally.
I wanted also to quickly ask you: do you end up cooking for your family all the time now? They're like, you're the one with the cookbook, so you cook.
Yeah, they should be cooking. No, my parents cook a lot. Right? I do. I like to. I enjoy it. So. Especially as I'm testing out recipes, that's when I cook a lot more. So
are they waiting right now for you to so they can eat?
Yeah, they're like, come on, let's eat. Okay, so in the saucepan, I'm gonna add oil and my beef, and I'm going to pound that out, just kind of just like break up the pieces.
Okay.
Eleni, do you mind if I throw out any questions that come in while you're doing that?
Here.
Somebody asked, if you use lamb, would you use the same spices?
Yeah, I would. So I'll kind of talk about those spices. I would use the same. Everything is to your taste, really. So salt, pepper, oregano are like my go-to seasonings. But then with beef and things like that, or anytime I make a sauce, I also use cinnamon. So this is something that my Yaya would do. She puts a lot of cinnamon in her like sauces and meats and things like that. So we're gonna use cinnamon. Maybe with lamb, you can maybe take that out if you don't like that kind of flavor. But salt, pepper, oregano is all you really need for those kinds of things.
Yeah, I noticed the fact that you mentioned cinnamon, and I noticed that a lot of recipes that come from the islands of Greece tend to put cinnamon in a lot of their minced meat.
Yeah. So my dad's side of the family, he's from Crete. So kind of there's a town called Gavalahori close to Hanya. So yeah, I've always liked that flavor. I mean, you like what you grew up with. So I've always grown up with this kind of flavors. So
it's interesting that as Greeks, though, regionally our dishes vary so much depending where you come from.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. So, and a lot of northern Greece, they definitely use more like heavy spices, like in their meat sauces and things like that. So I'm gonna set this down really quick so I can use 2 hands. I'm just gonna be pounding the meat out a little bit just to break it up. All we're gonna be doing is breaking it up into little chunks.
Okay.
And then we'll season it after you break it up into little chunks. Season with salt, pepper, oregano, and cinnamon. Go heavy on the seasonings. Don't underseason ever.
Right.
Okay.
Also, you should tell your dad that my mom's from Chania, so maybe we're related somewhere distantly.
Really? What? So in Hanya, or is there a town in Hanya?
Right in Chania.
Okay. Have you been?
Oh yeah, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
So maybe you guys might be cousins.
What?
You might be cousins then.
I know. Like, aren't we all? Aren't we all at some point? Aren't we all cousins?
Yes, probably.
And by the way, Eleni, the question about the lamb was from Karen.
What was the question?
The if you used lamb, would you use the same spices?
Yeah, I would use salt, pepper, oregano, and then if you want to add a dash of cinnamon, I think that really brings out meat flavors. So you can definitely do that. Okay, so now I'm just gonna season with salt, pepper, and oregano, and then I'll kind of show you what the meat's looking like.
And I'm assuming Greek oregano, right?
Yes, look. Of course, if it's jarred like this and
it got smuggled in through the airport, right?
Yeah, so we have oregano in our garden. I need to do better at harvesting it, but
nice.
we couldn't go. Usually we'll bring back like a bunch of spices, but so salt, pepper, oregano, go heavy on the seasonings. And then as we go and taste the sauces, always we'll taste it and I'll kind of guide you through that. And then we'll also talk about all of that.
So do you go by a specific time frame, or you're just eyeing it as it gets brown? Is there a method?
Yeah, so right now I'm just browning it. So I'll show you, I'm gonna bring this in a little bit.
Yep.
So I'm just gonna brown it a little bit with the seasoning, and then we're gonna add the the onions and garlic.
Okay.
Just wanna get all that kind of cooked in a little bit. I'm gonna bring this over here and kind of show you. So kind of bring those into chunks, chunk them down a little bit, probably break it down just a little bit more.
I could almost smell it.
I feel like I can smell it. Yes.
Yeah. I know some things you like think about, and you can bring in that the smell,
the sense.
Yes. Do you have a favorite? Do you guys have a favorite Greek dish?
Oh God, that's literally the most difficult question.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, what would you say, Foti?
Can
you pick one? Top 3? I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard. It changes by the season too. Like in the summer, I just want like fresh vegetables.
Yeah.
Yeah. In our household, as kids growing up, wintertime, it was always, on the weekends was either pasticcio, moussaka, dolmades, whether they were with cabbage or with, grapevine leaves. The Makaronia with Kima was huge. Patates with cotas do forno was always a big.
Oh, that one's good.
Right, with lemonates patates. Lamb shank was also.
Have you ever had kleptokol?
Well, yes, not as often as I wanted to, but when I, we used to go out and dine in New York City, I often found kleptokol in more menus than I did before. But yeah, I enjoy that dish as well.
So, you just asked that simple question, Eleni, and it just made me realize how important your cookbook and these types of cookbooks are, because it's like my mom passed away, and ever since she passed away, like that kind of connection to that Greek food, like, has been more distant from me, and it's sad. And you just asked Cliffy Cohen. I was like, oh my god, I haven't had it since like my mom was alive. And it's like,
Yeah, it's so
you really need these types of cookbooks, and it's really great that you did something like that to connect, the younger generations that maybe don't have that old Greek grandmother or old Greek mom from Greece making these things.
Yeah, or to like push them to do that, talk with your grandparents if they're still around, to your parents, write them down, because once they're gone, like even just like they can write it down, but doing it with them is like a totally different thing. Like when I was working with like my yaya, it's like I would just be like, hey, like give me your recipe, and then like the recipe that she has versus what she does is so different. So you have to like actually do it with them, as everyone knows. Okay, so all right, so the meat is browned.
Nice.
So it's bringing off some fat, which is good. We're keeping that fat into the dish. And so now we're gonna add the onions and garlic. So I have chopped onions, dice them, and add that in.
So it's important that you add that after the meat has browned.
With this, I do. Sometimes I'll do the onions and garlic and all that first. It depends on what I'm making. But with the beef, I like to do that so the beef gets browned, because if I do it before, it's gonna overcook the onions, and then the meat doesn't brown how I want it to. And then I'm adding lots of garlic. I always go more than sometimes even more than I say in my own recipes. I'm like, you know what? Throw another clove in.
You can't go wrong with that.
Honestly. So now we're just gonna stir that in. Sorry for the bad filming. I don't have like a great system of.
You gotta ask Dad to help you right now.
I know. Hold this. I need someone just to be like right there holding it. Yeah.
He could throw in some trivia while we're at it.
Yeah.
We got another question. If I could ask you.
Yes.
Oh wait, hold on. Let me find this.
And then we're actually gonna be throwing in the wine in a minute.
Okay. A quick question was, what's your most popular recipe in your recipe book or your blog?
My most popular on my blog. Okay, so probably my top one is probably, some people call it orzo or kritaraki. And that comes from that was like my most popular one. And then my mom's rice pudding. That's the one that skyrocketed everything. Also, fuck yes are actually quite popular, which is surprising. But just like a standard one that, standard recipe for the year. I'm pouring wine because I'm going to be pouring this into the dish.
Have a sip first.
For every pour, you got to sip.
Let's make sure cheers, everybody.
Yes. How do you like it?
I'm going to put more into it.
That's called the Foti method.
Yeah.
For every ounce that goes into a recipe, you have to drink 2 ounces.
Okay, I like it. So for everyone watching, so the wine is optional, but I think with sauces and things like that, meat sauces especially adds a nice flavor. I'm gonna add that before I add any tomato sauce, just to let that simmer in it. So I'm adding the wine into the meat sauce. Might even add some more later. You never know. This is how I, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So I'm gonna let that cook into the meat, and then I'm going to add a little bit more once the onions cook just a little bit more. Then I'll add a little bit more wine, and then we'll add the tomato sauce and let that simmer.
Okay.
So, are there any kind of questions? I'm gonna just open up the tomato sauces really quick as we're chatting.
Sure.
So somebody made a comment that Ari, you should have flown out there to work the camera.
I know, I'm so sorry.
Well, okay. I mean, I could have, maybe. And by the way, she is adorable, and this is excellent. So you have a nice compliment there from
Thank you.
Who's that? KMS.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Your fan club.
Oh my gosh.
So like for someone that doesn't really cook, you think of these dishes and it seems when you if you want to attempt it, they seem so overwhelming. But just we're into this about 10 minutes and you're breaking it down so easy. It's like within 10 minutes you just prepared the components of the meat sauce minus the sauce that you're going to put into it right now. But
we're going to throw on some
sauce. Really think about it, like within 15 minutes or so, you've got your meat sauce ready,
Right.
right?
Yeah. So Greek cooking isn't supposed to be like overly complicated, and then if you think of like the basics, so if I use this kind of meat sauce, same
Yep.
thing, I'm gonna use that for pasticcio, like how to make a meat sauce or like a stew. There's always the basic steps to get there. So it doesn't have to be overly complicated if we just know like the basics
Right.
to doing it.
I mean,
Simple
sometimes
as
you think
best.
about it, it takes us 45 minutes to an hour to do takeout, where
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're home, yeah.
by the time you get your
Better,
food,
healthier for you. Speaking from
right?
my nutrition background, much better. Okay, I'm gonna check on the on the meat. So basically, I want the onions to kind of cook down just a little bit before I add my tomato sauce. Just so we're not eating too much raw. So
Any
bring.
recommendation on what type of tomato sauce? Does it matter?
Yeah, so I use both. I'm gonna throw in tomato sauce and diced tomatoes. I don't have. I just use a standard like. I don't know, tomato sauce.
Okay.
We
Yeah.
have here. You can just only use tomato sauce, or I like to throw in a little diced tomatoes just because I like that chunky element. Some people will just only use like tomato sauce or tomato paste, but like I said, I like a little bit of chunks into meat
Now that
sauce.
you mentioned that, that reminds me. I remember my mom used to use tomato paste back in the
Yeah,
days,
yeah.
and they broke it down with a little water. I didn't understand
Yeah,
that.
so you need to break down tomato paste with water. So some of my recipes will have that. This one I just don't. This is how I've always done it. And it'll bring out the tomato paste will bring out the sauces from the pan or like anything that's kind of sticking, and that water will and it'll kind of thicken up a sauce as well. So you can definitely throw in some tomato paste. Okay, so I'm gonna throw in. Like I said, I'm doubling this, so I'm adding double of everything. So some tomato sauce going right into there, and I just
So you say you're doubling. Oh, you should have
I
worn
got some.
an apron. But anyways,
I should have worn an apron. That's for my life. It's all right.
but
Okay, so
good.
really quick, I'm also gonna add water. So what a little trick is, I didn't write this in my book, but I should have a little tip is I always think of things after, I should have done this. I fill up some water into these just so it gets the remains of the tomato sauce. It's something that she was from grew up in the Great Depression era, so everything she did was to save
Right.
everything,
Use
every remnant, so
yeah,
nothing goes to waste. Yeah.
nothing goes to waste. So how much of the can do you fill?
I'm gonna fill up half of this and then put it in. So this will be about a cup. Is what I really want into the sauce, and it's just gonna add more of the sauce. Yeah. Or you can fill it up with wine if you want all just straight wine. That's totally up to you and how you roll.
That's if Fatih was cooking.
Now you're talking.
Yeah. So now I'm just gonna stir this in here. So got some. So now that we kind of got all of our elements into this,
Yep.
I'm actually have one more thing of tomato sauce. We're gonna let that simmer, and I'm going to add a little bit more of the seasoning. So salt, pepper, oregano, cinnamon, and we're just gonna let this all simmer together, and then we'll work on our next recipe as it simmers. With any kind of sauce, stew, soups like that, you want it to cook slow. I'm not a fan of like cooking anything like super fast, just because it creates better flavor, and also really quick stir from the bottom to get anything that might have stuck, like the meat or onions. Because the flavors will come together the longer they sit. So I'm a fan of, now I'm seasoning everything again with more seasoning, of cooking things slow.
So you say you're gonna let it simmer, Eleni. Is there a time frame in your mind that you're thinking of when you say you're gonna let it simmer?
So I'm gonna let it simmer for about 30 minutes, 20,
Okay.
30 minutes. And I'm gonna put the lid on, and it'll kind of
And it's on low heat.
Yep, I'm gonna put it on like low to medium. So on mine, every oven's different, or every stove is different. So I'm at like a 3 to 4 for right now, and then I might go a little bit lower.
Cool.
So yeah, throwing in. Sorry, I'm doing one hand and doing this. Some more oregano, salt, pepper, and
Looks
cinnamon.
good. A couple questions, if you
Yeah.
can. can I make the meat sauce a day in advance?
Totally. It's gonna be
Yeah.
yeah. So sometimes when I'm in the mood to really cook, I'll do like triple batches of things like this, and you can freeze it too. So this freezes well. So like any kind of quick meal, like at night or whatever, when you're like, I have nothing. I mean, oh, I have Kima. I can like just have that with some spaghetti, whatever. So I'm gonna put this lid on it and just kind of like halfway or sleeve it out just a little bit. So you can cook it a day in advance. Just reheat it because the oils and the meats kind of will coagulate a little bit or harden. So just kind of reheat. You can add more liquid to kind of bring it back together. Yeah, I do that often. I think that's a great way to have meals. So,
Also, another question: are you working on a new cookbook?
I'm not currently. I have it in my head, basically. Yeah. So it's a work in progress in my head. I just need to get things onto paper. I have
What Eleni's trying to say is that she's going to announce it on Greek Wine Club when she's ready.
yeah, basically. No, I've always wanted to. Just to be honest, I was after my first one, I kept writing a little bit after, and then I had this lofty goal. I was like, I can write a book next year, 2020. I'm not doing anything. Everyone's locked down. But then I just kind of felt very overwhelmed and I just couldn't do it. But now I'm like in the zone of like, no, I want to do it. I will do it. And we might have a cookbook this year if I can get my ducks in line. Yeah.
I know a good online platform for you to sell it on.
Oh, and what is that?
It's a little app called Greekazon.
Let's hear about it as we.
We'll tell more. This is your time to cook now.
Okay.
Don't worry about us.
Okay. For anyone that might be cooking, let me know if you have any questions. Basically, like I said, we are just going to be putting the sauce on the stove, let that kind of cook, and then make sure you're stirring occasionally from the bottom so nothing sticks. And we're just gonna let that sauce thicken.
Okay.
And
there's a
spaghetti.
Quick question. Is that a briki on your stove? And is there a recipe in your cookbook for Greek coffee?
Yeah. Yeah. So can we see? Yeah. So I have a few here actually.
Right.
This one is from this one. It's an old one. This one is from my dad's papu. So that one's nice and old. This one's kind of newer. Yeah, a few of those. And we have a recipe in my book for Greek coffee. And I have a few drinks, just like a frappe and coffee. And I have another one, Uzito, you guys might like for your cocktail.
Oh,
Uzo mojito.
I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, save that one for another demo because we gotta get into that one.
Yeah, we need a summer meal and cocktail. Would be really good.
All right. Well, the folks here have heard it first. Eleni's coming back for a nice summer uzito.
Yes. So really quick, I'm gonna just set up we're gonna be again at the stove. I need to shut that ahead of time, but we're gonna be at the stove a lot today to start with the Tyrokafteri, and then we'll be right here. So again, just gonna bring this down as we cook.
I'm a big fan of Tyrokafteri. I mean, over the years, it's become a part of so many like meze platters. That's like it's a must.
Oh yeah.
I love it. It's so good. And you can spice it up however you like. You can go hot, you can go mild, you can go whatever. It's always kind of different depending on what you have. So I'm just going to show you. I already kind of cut the peppers. So what I like to do is saute the peppers a little bit to kind of get some heat and some oil. So I have a combination today of like sweet peppers. So I just use bell peppers, and then these are red jalapenos. I have a green jalapeno too, just add a different type of color. So
I don't think I've seen a red jalapeno before.
I know, but basically just something that's set out a little bit longer, I guess, is what I get from that. So yeah, with this, you can just use, depending on your spice level, you can use only sweet peppers. I've seen that with maybe some chili flakes because Greeks really don't eat a lot of spicy. So I like a lot of heat, so I put in jalapenos and chili flakes and all that.
Eleni, do we know, is there an origin or roots of where Tyrokafteri came from?
I'm not sure. I want to say it was more northern Greece, like
Where there's a lot of peppers?
yeah, I want to say that. I don't know for
Okay.
sure. Yeah.
We'll have
I
Ari
do
look into that.
know, yeah, I don't, yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know that whole
But
origin. Yeah.
but you mentioned that you're using a variety of different peppers. You're using a combination of sweet and hot or spicy.
Yes. There's two different types of Tyrokafteri that I've seen in Greece. One's red, one's white. And basically what they do is use different types of peppers. So with my red one, this is my red Tyrokafteri. I'm using all red peppers plus green to add a little bit of pop because I like to just kind of pop my dishes. And then when you use the white Tyrokafteri, they use more like in Greece, it's easier to make that because they have like more like white peppers and they'll use more feta and yogurt and things like that. So yeah, there's two different types.
Nice. And I
But
never knew
it's
that
like
you
more
had.
mild peppers. So here we have a little more variety of spice,
Awesome.
especially in Utah.
I was gonna ask you randomly, like what's the growing weather like in Salt Lake City? Like,
Great.
can you have a good garden for?
Yeah, so we have I'll have to show you one day a little tour in the garden or something like that. We have
Oh, that would make a
garlic.
great that'll make a great segment, by the way. So yeah, we should definitely do that.
Yeah. Right now we have garlic I planted in October going, and we'll have tomato, and we plant tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, all that. Yeah, I think
Okay, you're legit. You legit are growing stuff. Okay.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's really fun. I've been doing that with my dad. He started getting me into it, and then last year I kind of went for it, and I love doing it. So it's very relaxing.
Yeah.
Maybe you can send us some of your vegetables.
Yeah, we jarred some salsa this year. So
Oh,
yeah,
come on, send.
yeah. Do you like salsa? Yeah, so we did all that.
But I'm asking you on camera, so you can't say no and you can't back out.
Okay, okay, it's on paper. Yeah, shoot, that's okay.
A
Well,
couple
okay,
of questions, if I could ask real quick. How many recipes are in your cookbook?
so I have about 70. And then also the book is it's called All You Can Greek: Food, Life, and Travel. So like I said before, I felt compelled to write this because I felt my generation and myself was kind of getting disconnected from Greece. And so there's a whole section about travel. You can find I took a poll a couple years ago from my Instagram followers where your favorite beaches are. So there's a whole section like top 30 beaches to visit in Salt Lake. There's a map, you can kind of see that. And then I have a whole section about Crete because that's like where I'm from a few different regions in Greece, but that's kind of where my roots kind of pull the hardest, so I have a whole section there, and monasteries. So yeah, there's different life and there's travel, and then this end section I have stuff about life because this again I started blogging, and so there's a few entries there that were very like meaningful to me that I felt like I needed to put into the book that kind of has a Greek connection. Like there's a whole section about self-love, which in Greek is called philautia. So I have a whole like little write-up about that because that kind of drove me to actually feel confident to put out a book. So I thought that it was really important to put in.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, another question that actually goes with that is, do you catalog your recipes by region, or do most of your recipes come from a particular locale?
No, so I didn't have like any specific category. This book specifically was just recipes that I had from like my family or myself or things that I really enjoyed, and it's not very much regional, although I do have a more of a Cretan influence in how I cook. One of my favorite memories in Greece was from a Cretan cooking class I took there, and so I just love the style of cooking. It's funny when I was there. So I cook like more. Although I'm not vegetarian, whatever, I cook more vegetarian style,
Mhm.
and that's like the very Cretan way of cooking. When we were at this cooking class, you know, domadas, they come here, like we think everything has to have meat in them and yummy stuff and things like that. And so we were cooking. And so people that had been familiar with domadas or kind of somewhat, not everyone was Greek at the cooking class. We were making the domadas and like doing the filling. And someone was like, when are we putting the meat in? And her name was Eleni. She was the host, and she was like, meat? No, we don't put meat in our domadas. Like, and so I have a recipe for domadas without meat. Although I do like it, but that's definitely my influence is Cretan style for sure.
Nice.
Can't go wrong with the Cretans.
Yeah,
baby.
yeah, they sure know how to. They sure know how to cook.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So why don't we get so you've got the peppers going for the Tyrokafteri.
Yeah, so I'm about to put them on the pan. So I'm gonna heat the pan and I'm gonna put a little bit of oil. We're gonna grill the peppers or saute them with some chili flakes, and that's it. Let them cool, and we just grind them up in a food processor. It just comes together so quickly. So let me kind of show you here. Bring this back over here with my peppers. My station kind of got all this stuff. Sorry. Okay, so we're going to add olive oil to our pan.
Greek olive oil.
Always, yes. Actually, have you heard of this is from Olio Sofia. That's a company in Greece that I got mine from.
Okay.
They sent me some, so
Nice.
I had to use
Absolutely.
that. My mom was gonna hold this. Great. Okay, that's why. Yeah, mom. Yeah. Okay, so
Thank God for moms.
yeah. Okay, bring that down a little bit. Okay, so we're just gonna add the nonstick pan. So peppers to the pan. I'm not gonna try to overcrowd it. So I'll do this in batches.
And when you do saute peppers, do they bring out a little more sweetness in the vegetable?
It brings out heat, yeah. But it does bring out the flavor of the sweet pepper too, and you just get the sweet and the heat from it. So I'm also gonna add some chili flakes to it.
Yep.
And we're just gonna let that, it just kind of nicely get a little bit cooked. And then we're gonna let that cool. And I'm gonna bring my food processor over here to kind of show you what we're gonna do. So really quick, I'm going to add just the feta first, and then I'll add the peppers once it's cooled. So food processor, or you can use whatever you have, or you can use a blender, anything that you have really. So, okay. So with our feta, we are going to use about a cup here, 2 cups. And so I have the Doni feta that I picked from the market today.
Nice.
Yes. Yeah, that's my favorite. That we can get here, you know.
I was going to say that it's great that you can get out, out and as if. Like,
what are you saying?
There, out where you
what are
are.
you saying, Fatih?
Yeah, what are you saying?
It's tough to get out of this mindset. I don't know. I apologize.
Yeah, you have that like conceited big city Boston.
Not conceited. It's just like
out there. Yeah.
We don't know like other things exist.
Eleni, do you have running water out there?
Yeah, hardly. No, I actually fetch it from the neighbor. Yeah.
You guys go old school.
Yeah.
But nice outhouse, by the way.
Yeah.
I noticed.
So
we do this because our power's gonna go off soon. So.
So a question one of our guests has that just wanted to repeat: the brand of the feta that you're using is Dodonis. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm using Dodonis.
Dodonis feta.
Yeah, always use good quality ingredients.
Yep.
As you can. Feta right now it's hard to find because everyone. Have you heard of this freaking feta trend? Feta baked pasta.
Yeah.
What's up with
I was actually trying to find feta just to have feta, and I couldn't find it. It was like everywhere was like sold out. I was like, what the heck? I actually use this stuff regularly, people. So yeah, so I use Adoni, and you can get it from a market like this, or Here's, I guess you can use that too. We have another box in the fridge too, like this. So yeah, this is what I use.
Nice.
Awesome.
Not a paid advertisement, unless they want to sponsor me. I'll take it. I'm just kidding.
Somebody, Joanna commented, you can find it at Market Basket for the Boston people.
Oh, okay. There you go.
You know, you guys don't have supermarkets out in Utah, so you wouldn't understand.
No, like yeah, we have sheep. Yeah, so we just get the goats, sheep, and things like that.
Well, I wonder with some.
We have a good trading routine out here. I give them salsa, and they give me.
They didn't get the U.S. dollar yet, so they trade.
Yeah, exactly. So okay, so what I did here is I just kind of push these in chunks, just makes it easier. This is about 2 cups of feta. Put it in chunks, and then we're gonna add the peppers. I'm just gonna flip them real quick, and so you can kind of see here, just to kind of get a nice little. I'm gonna need the hand, mama. I need a hand. Okay, thank you. Just gonna get both sides, just kind of.
Yep.
A little bit.
What's your mom's name so we could credit her in the credits here?
Paula.
Paula.
She's probably yeah, she's.
And Utah's the best place to live.
Oh, very nice.
It is. It's very nice.
What do you think about that, Foti?
I think we need to like take a trip out there, especially during their festival.
Yeah, we have a very big festival actually. It's huge.
Especially
like the biggest in the west of the Mississippi. So anyone's welcome post COVID.
That's awesome.
I
Yeah,
can't wait.
we definitely would love that.
Okay, so I'm just gonna give this another minute, and then we will get going. Oh, my dad conveniently brought out. This is the salsa that we made.
Oh yes.
Very chunky. We use a lot of peppers. Again, I love hot foods.
Yes.
This is very spicy.
Oh, that looks so good.
Thank you. Are there any other questions before I?
Oh, let me look. Wisconsin cow fat all the way. I don't know what that means, but that was a comment, and I'm not fully in agreement with that. Because first of all, cow fat is not feta.
Well, unfortunately, that comment, I think it's because domestic feta made such a big impact because of all the Greek-owned pizzerias in the New England area that needed feta in that volume. So,
well, I'm a stickler about this, and cow feta to me is not feta. So, you know.
Well, yeah. I hate to break it to you, but a lot of
sauce really quick, like I said, constantly stir your meat sauce. You're also making that, in case anyone forgot. I'm just gonna stir that up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Disregard me fighting with the audience.
Don't distract her.
Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna turn off this pan.
Yep.
Cool just a little bit. And then we're gonna use everything from the pan, all the oil that accumulated, because that's gonna have some more heat too. Throw that in the pan or in the food processor.
Yeah.
And mix everything up. We're also gonna add yogurt. That's gonna add a little creaminess into it. And some vinegar as well, a little splash of vinegar. And that's all you really need for this. It's very, very easy. And like I said, you can make this however you would like. You can, or spicy, hot. You can add bell pepper, or I use bell peppers for sweetness. You can add like those pepperoncinis, also work.
Oh, okay.
Those are also great options. Serranos if you're feeling even spicier, anything. So
spicy is better, people. If you don't want spicier, you're missing out. Spicy is good.
Listen, Eleni, the spicier it is, the more wine we're going to drink.
There you
go. You got to cool it down.
Yeah, you can mince meat. Okay, we're gonna add everything in here, and it's gonna get loud, so we'll just see how that goes. Yeah.
It can't be any louder than Ari.
You're gonna what?
It can't be any louder than you, Ari.
So we're putting all these peppers in here,
Oh, look good.
and then the oil as well that accumulated from the pan.
And the remnants of the oil will go in there as well.
And my shirt too, yes.
Nice.
It'll go anywhere you really want it. Yes, and the oil. And we'll add more oil to it as well, just to get the
Yep.
texture going. Just kind of being careful. I should have worn a big one, but it'd be nice for my first show. You guys. Okay, so we have our peppers, and I'm going to add yogurt. This homemade Greek yogurt.
Homemade. Oh, very
Oh.
nice.
So feta and yogurt.
Yes, the yogurt adds a nice creamy texture to it. I'm going to add more as we go, and my lid is right here. Okay, we're going to get loud here for a second.
Greek style.
Okay. And vinegar. We need some vinegar.
Oh, okay.
A splash.
Ah, very nice.
Red wine vinegar. And then here you can also add more chili flakes if you feel so inclined. I technically should have done some batches, but
That is a nice mixture right there.
yeah. Yeah, there you go. And we're done. Oil and
Loosen things up.
Yeah.
And we're going, and we're live. And just let this go. Really quick. We're just gonna let this go. Add more oil as you need, more yogurt as you need, and we'll taste it in a second.
That sounded very much like Foti when he sips wine.
Sorry. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit more yogurt. Just kind of adds a little bit more creamy texture. All the measurements are on that link that you sent everyone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So if you want this a little bit less salty or a little more creamy, then you'd add more yogurt. It kind of tones down the saltiness from the feta. So that's where the yogurt comes in. So I'm gonna go back to being loud for 1 second.
It's uncanny, Foti, how much that sounds like you sipping wine.
Okay, that's how easy it is. So I'm just gonna kind of make sure the texture is there and the flavor.
At what point are you gonna taste it?
Right now.
Oh,
Needs more. Pretty there. Push there. Needs a little more heat, I think. So I'm gonna add a little bit more chili flakes.
Oh.
And a little bit more wine or red wine vinegar too. And then we have it. So yeah, you can add more chili flakes. I didn't add a lot to the pan.
And then Eleni, when your masterpiece is done with the Tyrokafteri, what do you like to serve it with?
I like to use, I'll use pita chips, or I have some bread I'm gonna use. Vegetables are also great. You can, honestly, this will go in anything. You can have it in your fridge and put it on hamburgers. Great option.
Oh, okay.
Meats, it's really good. Honestly, anything. Like Tyrokafteri is underrated in my opinion. Like move over
I
to
agree.
think we need more. I'm just gonna be really quick, really quick on
Go
this.
for
Okay. So
I'm gonna leave this as is, by the way, when we do the podcast. So just the audio, because that sound was awesome. I love that sound.
okay, good. Good. Okay, so this is kind of I'm gonna all the edges I need to scoop around, but this is kind of how it looks, like reddish orange, just because the oils.
Yeah.
And I'll put this into a bowl so it doesn't look so bad. But yeah, that's how easy it comes together, right into a food processor, super quick. So
Tasty.
tasty, and that's
Nice.
it.
So there you have
That's Tyrokafteri.
Tyrokafteri.
I'm gonna cut up some bread and we'll have that with the wine. And then I'm gonna start on my pasta really quick. So because this is how fast things move. Okay, let me put this into a bowl.
So now
Okay.
you got your Kima simmering there, almost done, and now you're gonna boil your pasta.
Right. Yes. I'll show you what pasta I'm using as well. And let me put that into a bowl. Yeah. So maybe now we can kind of talk. Do you want to talk about the wines
Sure.
and then get things going?
Absolutely.
I think after that everything will come together really, really quickly.
Right. So you broke down the components of each dish. Let's talk about the Tyrokafteri and the fact that we actually are gonna sip rosé with Tyrokafteri because we're coming up with what are we gonna have with these two recipes. So the Tyrokafteri has elements of saltiness from the feta, and it's got the heat from the peppers, and it's got light textures with the creaminess of the yogurt. So what came to mind right away was to pair a rosé from Greece. And for those of us that are either just getting into rosés or haven't had rosés, they're definitely something that you need to try. I think I turned Aryan to rosé not too long ago because he had a difficult time getting past the color of it, right?
No,
Right.
it was just that, it's a little light.
You don't want to be seen drinking a pink drink is what I'm trying to say.
No, obviously you don't know me because my whole life, my friends used to make fun of me for drinking like Malibu pineapples and Alabama Slammers and stuff like that. So that wasn't an issue for me.
All right, fine, fair enough. But going back to the reason why we chose this is a dry rosé. So often enough,
I'm gonna cut bread while you're doing that, so we can.
yeah, absolutely. Rosés are mistaken often enough to be sweet because for the last 20 years, a lot of folks have been drinking white Zinfandel or sweeter wines that were in pink in color. So we want to make sure that we reference that we're having a dry rosé. Rosés, just real quickly, they're actually wines that are made from red grapes, right? And what happens in the process is that when they ferment the grapes to make rosé, they leave the skins in for a very short time, for about an hour or two, maybe a little more during fermentation, so that just enough contact for the skins to extract the color to the juice, and then they remove the skins. And that's when you get this beautiful light blush
Hold it in
color.
front of you.
Yeah, right there. Okay. So they drink light, crisp, they're slightly acidic, they're slightly citrusy. And the one that we chose today is a rosé called Mylonas, a winery in Attiki. And I felt that this would be a good pairing with Eleni's Tyrokafteri. So Eleni's going to also crack it open, and she's going to sip on the Mylonas rosé while she has her Tyrokafteri.
And might I say, Eleni, you are very disciplined to hold that rosé all this time to sip it for the first time with us.
Right.
I know,
Very impressive.
I want to drink with you guys. It was like my family like saw this like coming in. It was like, oh, when are we gonna have this? It's like not until I cook with it and yeah, we're cooking. So
again, rosés are great all year round. They're more summery, but they're very versatile. So you can have rosés with pretty much anything. You can have them with fish, salads. You can have them with meat, pork. they're so underrated, but we want to take these opportunities during our segments to kind of showcase, what else is out there that people don't know of that they can try. And rosé happens to be that category.
Yeah. Well, thank you for this one. I'm excited.
So just keep in mind, Eleni, salty and heat from the food, and then dry and citrus.
Never have known
Say that
Um,
again.
I would never have known that, honestly, with the salty, with the rosé. That's
Yeah,
Yeah.
so here's the dynamics of pairing food with wine. It's
Yeah.
all about the seasoning and the cooking methods.
When you say heat, do you mean like spiciness
Spice,
or do you
yeah.
mean like actual temperature?
No, the spice.
Okay.
Yes. So we're talking when we use the word heat with food or recipes, we're referencing the hotness of the food, right? The spice.
Okay.
But
Somebody asked Foti what temp to serve the rosé.
so rosé should be served at the same temperature as white wine. So typically cold, right? And here's a tip real quickly about refrigerated wines, whether they're white, cold. Often enough we keep our whites in the refrigerator that's gauged at about 37 degrees, which is pretty cold. And in the US, we are accustomed to drinking white wine very cold because it's refreshing and it feels good. But at that temperature, though, white wine, um, it's too cold for wine in general. And what happens is 37 degrees or 40 degrees suppresses a lot of the flavors and the aromas. So even though it feels good to drink white wine, you're not really getting the true flavors until it comes to temperature. So when white wine warms up, you're getting more aromas, you're getting more flavor. So ideally, if you when you pull your white wine or rosé out of the refrigerator, wait about 30 minutes if you have the patience for it, and then have a sip of your wine. It'll be more flavorful.
Mm.
So back to the question, is rosé should be served at the same temperature as white wine. But again, everything's personal preference. These are just recommendations. So going back, with Eleni's point is that food pairings, it's all about the seasoning in the food and the structure of the wine. So salty foods call for dry wines. So what happens is the saltiness and the dryness in wine cancel each other out. And what happens then is that you are able to marry flavors where you can keep the flavor of the food while maintaining the flavor of the wine. So one is not lost over the other.
Good point.
Just a very basic, quick reference on
awesome.
wine pairing.
Yeah.
Foti, I concur.
Okay, I'm gonna try it really quick. Although I'm not ready to eat, but I just wanted to try it with the wine and the Tyrokafteri.
Yes.
Sorry for anyone not eating. I'm just gonna be.
We're drinking, so don't worry.
Yeah, that's just mean, Eleni. You getting to
I
eat all this good
just
food.
he was talking about it. A little bit. And then the wine.
This is it.
Okay,
Cheers.
I got a spicy kick.
Yeah.
That actually pairs really well. It kind of clears that palate too, I think, right?
Yeah, it's
Like what you're looking for?
it's clean, refreshing. That's a good word you brought out, clean.
Mhm.
So most production in Greece, wines are clean. And what does that mean? That they're made as natural as possible with very limited amounts of intervention. There's no artificial additives, flavors, chemicals, unknown agents, which happens to a lot of wines in the commercial market. So the wines are very simple. That's what makes them so clean.
Okay.
And that's awesome. Like that's a great thing. And I saw from your reaction, Eleni, unless you are Oscar nominated actress, like that was a legit reaction.
Yeah, I'm actually here for Is Nina Vardalos on? I'm just looking to get my name in there. No,
We should she should be a candidate for the LA Greek Film Festival.
yeah.
This segment is going to nominate her.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. No, like what I emote. Yeah, it's all on the table for me. So What you see is what you get. So really quick, I'm gonna boil the pasta, and then everything's gonna come together, and we can eat. Well, I'll eat, and you guys will continue drinking. So I'm just gonna put. I'll show you what I'm doing with the split pasta. I'm using. So I'm using this pasta.
Oh wait, the other way. Flip it over.
Oh, sorry. There we go. I like to use this for pasito, and I really like to use this for any kind of sauce because the sauce really gets into the noodle, and they're fun to eat. They're like Slurpee noodles. I don't know.
Mm,
So
Yeah.
they're fun.
this as a kid, so this is what we're going to boil.
That's
You know,
actually Foti's nickname, Slurpee Noodle.
Right. So Misco has been a staple in all of our households growing up as kids.
Was what?
That brand Misco has been, at least for us out here, has been a household brand growing up as young Greek Americans. That my mom used to use the whether it's Manestra or the Orzo
Mhm.
from that brand, and all their different types of pasta.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna boil this, and then everything will be ready to go.
Again,
Now-
I wanna call out your mom for the excellent camera work.
Yeah.
She's following you. She's doing everything right. Except I just saw her thumb, so
Thumbs up.
you gotta watch that.
Now, Eleni, you boiled the water, but are you seasoning the water before you put your pasta, or are you doing anything?
Salt into the pasta water. Yes. Water,
Salt
salt.
in the pasta water.
Yes.
Yes.
Did you do that?
Yes, but when I eat pasta at Ari's house, it has no flavor because I think he forgets the salt in the water.
Yeah, you gotta. What does someone say? Like you want to taste the sea and the salt it like the sea. As some I heard someone say one before.
So
With your
salt in the water. Okay.
pasta.
I do
Yeah.
it on purpose when Foti comes over.
Make everything bad. Yeah. Yeah.
But, so he doesn't come over again.
Well, I think what you do is
Be
because
bad. You must be doing something
if
right.
it's not salty, I won't drink as much. So I won't drink all your wine. Is that why you do that?
There we go. We figured it out.
Yeah. All right. So you got the water boiling. You got the salt in there.
Already. Yes. And I'm gonna check on my sauce.
And do you have a minute a time frame for how long you should cook your pasta?
With this, I would do, these are thicker noodles. This one should be about 15, 17 minutes to al
15
dente,
minutes. Okay.
or whatever the package says too. Every package is different, or pasta.
So like when you're not sure, do you like grab a noodle and like try like to
Yeah,
eat?
I'll grab it. I don't like it
boil
like
them up?
soggy. Like al dente, like a little bit.
Yeah. Gummy.
Yeah, yes.
Perfect.
So yeah, were there any questions on the Tyrokafteri or anything? Sauce is almost done. It just, now I took off the lid and let the sauce kind of thicken up a little bit.
Mm.
And it kind of like hastens the thickening when you take the lid off, and then we'll be ready to go. And I also have, for the topping, I have grated mezitra.
Ah,
Yes.
Oh.
did you grate it yourself?
Actually, I had my brother do that today as I was getting ready for things, but
Make
yes.
sure you give him
I
credit.
haven't
Ari.
grated it
Yeah,
today.
we gotta give credit to the whole family here.
I know, it really is a family affair here, where it's like a whole production. So
That is the absolute
like-
Greek style, right
it
there.
really is.
Get everybody involved.
My dad sends in the historical facts. My mom's the camera lady. My brother does something here and there.
What is that?
Love it.
Somebody just asked, what is that cheese? Just repeat it, just in case they missed it.
Yeah, so this is grated mezitra cheese. I put this at the end, so after you have like your plate going, you can also mix it. Sometimes I mix it in with the sauce. It's also a good little tip. This is how it comes, like in this block, and so I just grated that into this. You can
Awesome. Love
also
me, Jesus.
use, you can also use, depending on where you are, you can use kefalotiri, you can use
Mhm.
Parmesan cheese, whatever you have really. I think mezitra is the best with this. Parmesan also works really well.
Then we also want to make an acknowledgement that one of our guests, Georgia Balafas, who's actually cooking along with you, she just made the Tyrokafteri.
Okay, how'd it turn out, Georgia? Is it okay?
But I'm gonna turn her camera on real quick.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
turn our camera on.
Yeah, It makes a lot. So you'll have a
in our audio.
Georgia, join us.
All the way from Boston.
all the way.
Here we go, Kafteri.
Oh,
Beautiful.
I've never used it. I've never put yogurt, actually.
Really? Okay. Have you tried it a little bit?
Yes, I tried it. It was really good.
Okay, yeah. The yogurt just it smooths out the dip, and then it kind of balances that saltiness. So it's actually a tip I found in Greece when I was there. I was like, how is this like so smooth? Because I've had it like so chunky before, and they said throw yogurt in it, and so I started doing that, and it's great.
We're making kima too.
Okay, good. Are you almost done? How's the sauce turning out?
It's good. I might have not put the cinnamon. I might have just used my recipe. So more like garlic, onions, white wine.
Okay.
White wine.
There you go. Good.
The red, and then I'm just salt, pepper, and oregano kind of girl. And much like you, chunky tomatoes.
Yeah, I like that.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, the chunkiness is just I like it.
Me too.
So Georgia, are you going to invite Foti over to have some of this?
Have some of this? No.
You're better off alone.
No, she's gonna drop it off tomorrow.
I'm gonna drop it off tomorrow. Okay, you got it. No worries.
There you go.
Awesome. Thank you, Georgia.
That's just so fun. Okay, I'm gonna check on the kima really quick, and then it'll probably be about 10 minutes for the pasta and the kima. If you want to talk about any or Greek, anything more Greek wine club or Greek is on.
Yeah. So Ari, I think this is a good opportunity to let our guests know that Eleni's cookbook is available on our newly released app called Greekazon.
Yes, her cookbook is there. The wines are there. A lot of cool foods are there. There's all sorts of good stuff. And just to inform people, it's the very beginning. This is a growing app. We have like the bare minimum right now, but every day, every week, every month, we're going to be adding more and more. So please check it out if you can. It's a free app, but just check it out. We have a lot of good stuff. Her cookbook has the most beautiful photography standing up on the table. I was going to say this before, Eleni. You say like, you don't know this and that, and you're just standing on the table, you're trying stuff, but lighting is so important in photography, and you have the lighting down pat. Kudos to you.
You nailed it.
It's just this overhead light that's up here. That's it. That's all I have.
Whatever it is, you have the lighting very well. And everybody out there can, if you want to see a little bit of this, like right now, go to her Instagram, Eleni_Saltas on Instagram. Follow her. Her photography for her food and her recipes is phenomenal. Just check it out.
Thank you guys for flattering me. I really appreciate that.
Ari, it's got to be the lighting in Utah. There's no
yeah,
because I use my regular light and like everything comes out horrible. So
we use lanterns, and so
oil powered.
With Greek olive oil.
Yeah, my family stands up and just like holds it, and then
they got the Greek candles.
Yeah, Greek candles. Yes.
Foti.
Yes.
You're not gonna live this one down, Eleni. Every segment you do with us, this is gonna live on.
That's
okay. I'm from like 1800 apparently. So Pilgrim, Utah.
Yeah. How do you find that camera contraption we sent you to do this segment? You guys figured it out okay?
Yeah, we got it. Yeah, everybody can handle it. Yeah, he handles all that.
Nice.
Awesome.
I'm really excited about that app. I think it's gonna be really great, and it's really cool that you're showcasing so many Greek products. So
yeah, I mean,
stuff out there,
we try to do very, not like everything, but like it's almost like curated.
Yes,
just the stuff we like, the stuff we think is the best. And again, that's another reason why we got in touch with you, because you have a great following. You're very popular on social media, and there's a reason for that. and we saw your cookbook, we saw your stuff on social media, and we were like, yeah, this is a great match for us, and thank you so much for being with us.
Of course, yeah. Appreciate it all.
Of course. And I think, Eleni, as we're getting ready for the main course,
Yeah.
is we also have a wine that's going to go with the Makaronia with Kima.
Yes.
And let's just talk about that real quickly so we don't forget it. So in Eleni's hand, she's showcasing the 2019 uh, Xinomavro from Vaeni Vineyards in Naoussa. So we had this conversation earlier. A lot of meat dishes come from a lot of the northern parts of Greece, mountainous areas. And Xinomavro is a variety that's popular in northern Greece, but it's also been said that there's been research that it could be genetically identical to Pinot Noir, the French
Isn't
variety.
there a way to scientifically prove that?
Yeah, they're doing they've been doing studies at USC Davis in California, and there's a lot of research being done on finding the origins of these grapes, and they're finding a lot of similarities genetically to these two grapes. They haven't confirmed it yet for different reasons, and I'm not going to go into the details, but it'd be a game changer if the reality was that Pinot Noir is Xinomavro, being that it's a Greek variety.
You know what? I'm gonna go with the fact that French wine is Greek. That's
There
it.
you go. I was just going to say that, but you said it. So, well, what does that mean? What does Xinomavro and Pinot Noir mean? So basically, these are grapes that grow in cooler climates. So the cooler the climate is, the less sugar is attained in the grapes. So they make slightly tart red wines that are dry. So Xinomavros are light, drier red wines, and the drier they are, the better they work with heavier foods that have a lot of fat and oils. So Kima, which has a nice content of fat and oils in the dish, is basically this structure of red wine works well with meaty sauces. And again, we're going to go back to balance. We're balancing the wine with the food. So if the wine was too heavy, it would take away from the flavor of Eleni's meat sauce. So Xinomavro happens to be light enough, but has enough flavor and structure to work and pair well, which Eleni is going to demonstrate that sip uh, pairing when her dish is ready.
Yes. Oh my god. I'll get my wine ready. We're almost ready. Pasta's almost ready. Sorry for going late for anybody.
We're on Greek time.
Yeah. It just come together fast when you're just like only doing that, but going back and forth, I'm
Like
all over.
conversations,
And
this
dealing with
It's an
40
experience.
for an hour, like just
Yeah.
slows
It's
things
not bad
up so
cooking,
much.
we'll say. Yeah. Hope everyone's enjoying. I have this ready and I have my rosé.
Well, before you try your dish, Eleni, this time I want you
Yeah.
to have a sip of the Xinomavro by itself, and then have it again with the food.
Okay, I'm have a sip now. Well,
Have two sips.
okay, I will gulp.
Okay.
To
Chug, chug, chug.
But you know, there's a science,
Right? We got to
between-
see her reaction.
the science between food
I
and-
like that's actually really good wine. My mom's right here is like that's like yeah. Some reds I feel like I'm not like a wine. I'm not like trying to like fake it. I do like wine, but some reds are sometimes like so dry that after I'm like hard to
Well,
talk. Sometimes
no.
actually this is really good.
the fact that you said that, the drier they are, Eleni, that means that they need to be with food.
Okay.
So
They're
let
food.
me ask real quick, Foti. She said some red wines. She's like, and very dry. Like, is that the tannins?
Well,
What is that?
It's the level of alcohol and tannins. So tannins again are those oily compounds that are found in the grape seeds that produce that like grippy sensation on your palate.
The grippiness is what makes you dry, correct?
Yes, and that's contributed
Like
to
you need a glass of water.
it's the bitterness that comes from the grape seed oils.
Okay.
It's bitterness. So, but then again, we're not used to those sensations. So, Eleni, if you haven't consumed a lot of dry wines over time, your palate's not used to it. But over time, your palate will adjust. So when you start drinking more dry red wines, it will be a little more easygoing and more inviting, right? It's more of a shock factor to your palate when you're having dry wines like that for the first time.
Right.
It's just chemical reaction of how our body works. So yeah, I mean, dry red wines are not the most pleasant in the beginning, but when you give them a little bit of time, they evolve and they soften, and when they're consumed with food, they become elegant.
Well, correct me if
Be like,
I'm wrong.
mm.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah,
Elaine.
yeah,
Correct
you're
correct
wrong.
me
You're
if I'm
wrong.
wrong.
You're wrong.
But when you
Okay.
when you say over time, it sounds like you're talking about
Let
an
me,
amount of time. I'm thinking the first glass to the third and fourth
yes,
glass.
yes, you're right. Let me break it down. From the moment you pop the cork or you unscrew the cap, because we're big fans of screw cap wines. The
Yes.
moment you do that, right, your wine is evolving by the second. It's changing. So that very first sip that Eleni just had right now will be a lot different in the next 10 minutes, in the next 30 minutes, in the next hour, if it lasts that long, right?
Yeah.
But
Green third.
wine does evolve quickly as it's opened.
Yes. So in that sense, you really recommend breathing.
So yeah, not mouth to mouth, but what we recommend is that you open your wine in advance, right? And what I mean by advance, if you open your bottle of wine, your red wine, an hour before you could have it, it should be a lot softer and smoother than it was if you first opened it. Just a tip.
No, that's very interesting because I remember a previous segment that we were talking about letting wine breathe. I open wine and I drink it all down by like the first 10 minutes, and I'm probably missing a whole lot of what that wine offers.
What that's saying is that you need two bottles. You got to open up your second bottle in advance so that you can have your first one right away.
You know what? I like that thinking.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully we have more questions from our folks
Well,
that
that's
are
actually very cool. I think for me, I'm like I like wine, but learning all that is very interesting. So
That's what we're here for.
yeah.
So we
You
do have a couple of
kind of
questions.
free pop now. Is that like is that a new trend?
What is?
So you said you're a fan of screw top.
Yeah.
Is that like the trend? Is
Well,
there a reason?
Yes, yes, and yes. Foti, tell her why.
yeah, okay.
Yeah,
So
I'm very
screw
curious.
caps unfortunately have had a bad rap for being identified as cheap wine, right? Screw caps.
Mhm.
But the reality is that, wines have been using natural corks forever as their preferred enclosure.
Mhm.
But corks are a natural byproduct of a tree, and that natural byproduct behaves based on its environment. So, not to get too geeky and technical, but if wine is not stored properly, if the atmosphere is too dry, then that cork will shrink, and then air gets into your wine, and your wine becomes vinegar. That's just the reality. If the environment is too humid and there's too much moisture, then what happens is that a lot of moisture builds up in the cork. Then that moisture can convert into bacteria, so then mold grows into your cork, and then that drips into your wine, and that taints your wine. So all these scenarios happen often with wine, with
And
natural.
that's the geeky translation. And then there's my translation, which is I'm lazy and I love just unscrewing a wine and screwing the top back on and not worrying about it, and everything's good.
So to Ari's point is that with a screw cap, it's a guaranteed seal that nothing can get into the wine. So your wine is always preserved. You'll never be tainted. So in my opinion, well-made wine deserves to be in a screw cap so that it doesn't have to go to any possibilities of getting ruined by the natural cork situation.
Oh,
Everybody out there watching, listening,
I'm like very interested in this. That's a really
yes,
cool.
no, it's real. Like it's real because like I used to be like, all right, whatever, I don't know. But then like Foti would explain stuff. I would get, screw caps and this and that. And I'm like, I used to stress about my wine being properly corked
I
and
know.
covered,
I know.
right?
I'm like, do I put this on like right away? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And then the screw cap just like eased all my fears.
Yeah.
Screw cap all the
I
way.
just like have like this, I think like this wrap of like, oh, it's not like real fancy, like fancy wines. I feel like the cork for some reason.
So moving forward, don't fear the screw cap.
Hey,
Yeah,
no, I
never
won't.
fear.
I'm like, I'm all for it.
Perfect. Excellent.
And I think it's better environmentally, correct?
Ready?
100%. We need
Which is 100% a benefit.
So, the cork tree mainly grows in Portugal, and there is a shortage. So at some point, we're going to run out.
No, forget the cork, people.
Okay, the pasta is ready. So wait, there really is a shortage of corks?
Yes.
Well, yeah, because if you think about it, the process of regrowing a cork tree takes about 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So the demand of cork is definitely much higher. But if we don't move into other alternative, approaches to sealing our wines, then at some point soon, there'll be no corks at all.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Eleni, you have a lot of followers. You gotta set the trend now.
Starts with you, Eleni.
Yeah. I gotta save the.
You set the trend. You tell people that corks, the screw caps are perfectly good, and
all on
take
me
it
now.
from us.
If anything
Yes.
happens, it's my fault. I have this weight on my shoulders now.
I am putting the responsibility on you, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna drain the pasta. Everything's ready. You guys continue talking about corks. Very fascinating. Push for it.
We want to see the
I'm
pasta.
a fan. Yeah.
So let me tell you about corks.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, for us, it's all about like
Sustainability, environment.
being cautious about our environment. A lot of winemakers today are making huge changes in their overall operations of how they farm, how they produce wine, and how they package their wine. So we're big fans here at Urban Wine Club, Greek Wine Club, Greekazon, and Ari had made a point about how we like to curate our products. It's not about the results of the flavors and the taste of our products, but it's also the people that are behind it and what they're doing to produce these products.
Very good point.
It's
Very
fascinating that we're thankful and grateful that we're connecting with like-minded individuals around the world and in Greece that are basically taking measures to bring to table products that are cautious about the environment, cautious about our health, because what we consume is important. And I'm not just talking about the product, but what does the product go through from the farming perspective? Like most wineries today in Greece, even though they're not certified organic, because it's a lot of red tape, it's a lot of BS, blah blah blah. Most wineries in Greece come from vineyards that have been organically farmed for ages and decades. And then the winemaking process, because in Greece you made with whatever you had, that very minimal means of making products, is that they bypassed all of the fertilizers, all of the these chemicals, all of these additives to manipulate wine. So one thing to be said about products from Greece, specifically the wine side of it, is that they're true pioneers of natural winemaking.
That is so good to hear, because I love Greek wine, but I can never in good conscience enjoy a Greek wine if it wasn't made in a sustainable, a proper way. A proper
Right.
way, in my opinion, a proper way in many people's opinion. Sustainability needs to happen.
Right. And we're big fans of today. We're always, we want to eat clean. We want to purchase organic produce. We want farm raised, not farm raised, wild raised, or our meats or wild caught fish. That's always in the back of our minds when we're trying to make purchases at the supermarket or at the farm stand. But we often don't consider the beverages that we drink.
Yeah.
And we make all this effort to eat clean and good and healthy, and then we wash it down with synthetic beverages, and all that effort and the food goes to waste because we're just consuming. If you think about it, I mean, if you and I are out having dinner, we're going to be good for a bottle each at the end of 2 hours, right? So we just consume, I don't know, 25 ounces of synthetic sugar, and who knows what else is in that wine. So think about that.
It's very true. Very true. But let's take a look.
Hey, it's steaming, but this is
Oh
yeah, it's
my
whole
Look at
family.
goodness.
This is all for me. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. No, it's like I said, I doubled this so I can have this for my whole family today. And this is our dinner with some Tyrokafteri and a salad. So this
Wow,
is how I'll kind of
gorgeous.
out.
Eleni, that
Look,
looks amazing.
so
Thank
Eleni,
you.
at
And then
what
you add parsley to add some greens if you would like. That's I put that as an option, and then the cheese will come on top. So I'm gonna plate this so we can kind of like have some bites and then talk and have some wine.
Yes.
so do you leave the mezitra up to the individual to put
Yeah,
on? You don't
yeah.
make it yourself?
You can. Sometimes I actually put, so like if I'm just doing just a total, sometimes I don't even have pasta and I'll just have the meat sauce and I'll put the cheese inside the meat and it really makes the sauce very gooey. So
Okay,
yeah,
Mhm.
so it's really good that way too. So that's also an option, like a low carb option to just add some cheese into the sauce. It's really good that way
nice.
for the day.
It looks so good.
So I'm gonna
We
put some on
need to invent a technology that lets us 3D print these recipes in our homes while you make them.
Yeah, well, that's up to you. You're the techie guy, aren't you? Yeah, I'm just here. Yeah.
If I could do that, we'd be
I-
all set.
Yeah. Don't forget about me when you do that.
I can see the steam rising from the.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. I'm gonna put this over here to cool a little bit. Some more meat sauce.
What time is it right now over at your area?
It's your area now. Now it's
Yeah.
my
You
six-
have clocks over there?
Yeah. Well, the sun's down, so that's what
Sundial.
I go by. It's just sun's down, and that's about all we do.
You
Also,
got, what are you guys? 2 hours? 2 hours difference?
yeah, that's why I kept like screwing up. Is like I keep saying like Mountain Standard Time, Eastern Standard Time, at the same time, but yeah, we're 2 hours behind you.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, you're right about dinner time, right?
Yeah, so it's perfect. So I'm sorry for eating late. This is my little plate. It's not that beautiful. It's not plated
So
as nice, but like
at this point,
on it.
do we allow our guests to do we open our cameras, let our guests ask questions or talk to Eleni as we're coming to the
Yeah, we totally could. Let me say this. Let me hold on. Let me
So yeah, I just put the cheese on top of here, and then
beautiful.
I have my Tyrokafteri, and
let me tell the peoples.
yeah, love to hear from
Eleni,
anybody.
where's your glass of wine?
And I have my wine here. Yes, I have both my wines.
Bravo.
I'm gonna just kind of adjust. Sorry, I would be normally sitting down, but I don't have a good.
All right. So if anybody wants to unmute and and turn on their cameras, please feel free so we could have like a little bit of a free for all.
Yeah, we want to, definitely let Eleni know how much we appreciate her
Yeah,
time.
and let Eleni know how awesome these dishes look.
You guys are so nice. Thank you.
You could let Foti know how boring his talk is.
I was like so intrigued. I know what you're talking about. I was like, I'm like so passionate.
Eleni, let me tell you something. Foti is my cubano. Foti is my best friend. I love Foti.
I know.
But let me just tell you, if you listen to this guy every day, all day, just forget about it.
And that's exactly what you do.
You guys are kumbadi, is that what you said?
We are Kubati. We are.
Yes.
I took
yeah.
the plunge. I took the plunge and I said, Foti,
And look at you guys now.
I want to be connected with you through the Lord.
Yeah. I mean, we're getting some folks that are sending some great comments to Eleni, but we'd love to encourage anyone to kind of unmute themselves and maybe say a few words.
Wait, let's see. So Ari Fotis Eleni, thank you for your fine program. Very relaxed, fun, and informative. Which thank you for saying that because that is the whole point. We love to do things very relaxed, very just have fun. We're all friends. I mean, we just met Eleni, but we're Greek. First of all, Eleni might be my cousin. I don't know. So like, it's very casual. We're all good friends. We're all Greek. that makes us instantly connected. So thank you for saying that.
Yes.
Eleni, your food looks delicious. Can't wait to try. Thank you. That's from Suzanne.
Aw.
What a great looking dish from Mikey. Eleni, I will purchase your book. That's from KM She. I don't know what her name is, but KM She is her username. Thank you so much.
Oh, how
Shelly
nice.
Papadopoulos. Delicious. I'm hungry.
Listen, let's just
Shelly, I'm with you.
Shelly, thank you so much for joining us. It's it's a pleasure to have you with us on this segment.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Georgia Balafas, who we had on camera. Thank you, Eleni. Paula, come to Utah, everyone. You'll love it. I
Listen-
want to say, is that your mom? I want to say camera work on point, Paula. Thank you.
Let me just make a point. Back in the days when we were younger, we used to organize trips to go to Montreal with all of our friends and all the Greeks from around the New England area. We went to the Montreal ski trip back when we were younger, right? Now we should do a
Wait, I'm just going to stop you right here. I don't know if Utah is the exact spot for
well,
crazy Greeks to go and party.
no, exactly my point.
Right.
Now
Yeah,
that
you'd
we're,
be
now
surprised,
that we're
Wait, let Eleni. What'd you say, Eleni?
You'd be surprised. This is
Yeah.
a very hopping place.
All right, Eleni, we're coming to you. You're our tour guide.
what I was
Alright,
going
got it.
to mention is
I
that
don't be tour guide because he's the factoid, but I will be your cook.
there you go.
That's it.
We should do a Greek weekend retreat to Utah.
Anytime.
Oh my God, that would be awesome.
There you go.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Ari and I are going to drive in a van and fill it up with good wine so we can bring it to Utah.
Okay, I'm in. We'll show you the coal mines here.
Listen, we you know what? The thing about me and Fatih that you don't understand is like you can do anything you want. You could put us in a cave with no electricity because Utah just discovered electricity, right?
Yeah, it was actually, yeah. Yeah. We're
So
working.
you could put us in a cave with no electricity. Just give us a little bit of wine and we'll make the best of it.
Awesome.
We have no problem.
Okay, I'm in.
So Eleni, thank you so much. Thank you so much for everything you did tonight. Thank you for preparing these dishes. Thank you for the absolutely gorgeous, beautiful cookbook. Everybody out there, please check out this cookbook. It's awesome. Eleni's Instagram, Eleni_Saltas. Follow her. Her dishes, her like everything she does on social media is on point. It's great. She has 15,000 followers for a reason. Like we've been like fighting for followers and we just got to about, I don't know, 1,000 or something. So like 15,000, like, she's doing something right.
Oh, don't worry about the followers. Yeah, you should be my hype man. Do you want to like follow me everywhere and just like hype me up?
Yeah,
Because
man.
I'm trying to say anything.
I'll just party out and I'll do it. I'll totally do it. But follow her, get the cookbook, check it out on Greekazon, check it out on her website. We have everything linked up. We want to thank Fatih for all his wine knowledge.
Yeah.
Everything he brings to the table. He always teaches us something. Thank you, Eleni.
My pleasure. And before we sign off, let's tell Paula your last name.
Oh yeah, my mom wants to know your last name. Your
Who,
Cretan.
mine?
Yeah, on your Cretan side to see if we're
On the
related.
Cretan side, it's Tsikudakis.
Sikudakis. Do you have family in Denver?
Yes.
Are you serious?
I told you we're cousins.
No, not me. No, my friend married a Sikudakis.
Yes.
Sikudakis.
So
In Denver.
if you come by an Ari Tsikudakis,
Okay.
he went to BU where I went.
Okay. I don't know. I just know him. I just know their family.
If you ever hear of an Ari Tsikudakis, he went to BU.
Okay.
I was with him, and that's where I met him completely randomly.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, oh, your name's Adi. My name's Adi. Ha, 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 ha. And I'm like, what's your last name? He's like, Tsikudakis. I was like, what?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we know.
So
It's good name.
Greeks, baby. Greeks are all together. We're all related. We all share the same, just outlook, the same views, the same everything. We love.
We do.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, everybody,
you
for
so much.
listening.
Thank you for having me, and I look forward to more cooking shows.
Yes.
I will have my crew with me again. And
Yes. Thank you, Paula.
So
What's your dad's name?
John.
Thank you, John, for the trivia, and your brother.
Yes, my brother is here. I have two brothers. One's not here, so I'll get the other one next time too.
What's his name? The one that's there.
Oh, Mikey.
What is it?
Michael.
Mikey. What's up, Mikey?
Yeah, the whole family. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching.
Well, find me. You'll find my whole family close by.
Yes, and we will link up all of Eleni's information on the video and the podcast. Thank you, Foti. Thank you, Eleni, again. We will see you guys next time. We hope you enjoyed, and thank you again. Bye-bye.
Gracias,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody. Thank you so much.
Yasas.